Cotolo proved that personal magnetism can involve more than just charisma. But she had stiff competition from Marinela Brankova from Bulgaria, and a Russian ballet dancer, and a Russian military officer, and a mini-magnetic 5-year-old Pole. Meanwhile, in Korea, in similar defiance of gravity, cans, coke, and cars crawled uphill. March, strange weather round the world. At 9:45 a.m. on the 28th of March, Dunmara, Northern Australia, was struck by an astonishing phenomenon.
Welcome back. Next time somebody says to you, it's raining cats and dogs, well, be careful because they may well be telling the truth. In the Northern Territory, a small roadhouse 600 kilometres inland, south of Darwin, has just experienced the phenomenon of raining fish. And on the line from the Dunmara Roadhouse in the Northern Territory, Adele Liebel. What happened?
Well, we've had quite a lot of rain. In fact, it rained for almost a week. But during that time, we just hundreds of little fish appeared on the truck parking bay out of nowhere. Yeah, it was quite amazing.
How big are these fish?
Very small, but sort of just vary in size from very small to about your longest finger. But they're just little silvery type fish with a little blue on them.
Meanwhile, in Stourbridge, near Birmingham,
I was perhaps a few hundred yards away from home when it started to rain frogs. Now, I know that sounds really strange, but the whole sky seemed to open up and there were thousands of frogs about an inch long. Fortunately, I'm not afraid of frogs, but I had never seen anything like it before.
reports of other strange showers flooded in from all parts of the globe. A field of straw fell over Coventry. An entire haystack on Buckinghamshire. In Pennsylvania, it rained feathers. In Seattle, Washington, a downpour of jellyfish. April has been called the cruelest month, and in Lincoln on Good Friday, the marks of the crucifixion spontaneously appeared on the body of Heather Woods.
It just started as a little blister, but then the next day, another blister appeared here. He trusted in the Lord.
As she assisted her bishop at the Good Friday service, her wounds were clearly visible.
By his wounds we have been healed.
The skin is broken underneath, but it doesn't look normally as if it would bleed, but it does actually weep. It just comes up through the skin.
On 2 occasions, Heather has also developed a cross on her forehead. Her GP, Dr. S.K. Banja, examined the wounds and was sufficiently convinced to write this open letter. I believe that there were some spontaneous lesions of hands and feet and side and can offer no medical explanation for their appearance. (1994) was a good year for unidentified flying objects. May saw a major UFO controversy resurface. In 1947, a flying saucer was reported to have crashed near the town of Roswell in the New Mexico desert. Witnesses claimed to have seen the wreckage of a spacecraft and dead aliens. The American military denied the incident and claimed it was a weather balloon. In May this year, Congressman Stephen Schiff maintained that there is a government cover-up.
Certainly the way the Defense Department is acting even at this particular time suggests to me that this was not a weather balloon.
It's very important that people realize that there are things flying over Midway and Roswell and perhaps other states in the country. We just happen to have captured the evidence that there's something really unusual going on.
And closer to home, in Swindon, Wiltshire. This alien craft was filmed hovering over Pinehurst. Air traffic controllers at nearby RAF Lynham admitted the mystery vessel did appear on their radar screens. On the other side of the world, in Africa, an unusual visitor called in on May the 5th to a Zimbabwean playground.
I think that one's upside down.
That's interesting. Now what's that?
It was just glistening in the trees. And there was a man, and he walked towards us.
They had longish hair, and it was all black, and they had big black eyes.
I saw this silver thing in amongst this clump of trees.
He was dressed in black, and he had big eyes. They went 1 meter up from the ground, and then they just disappeared.
According to folklore, honeybees always pay their last respects to a beekeeper. On the 8th of June in Ludlow, Shropshire, folklore became fact at the funeral of beekeeper Margaret Bell.
We'd just been to the funeral of a very close friend of ours who was a beekeeper. Coming out of the church and going back to the house for the do, the air suddenly became dark, and looking out we saw that there were swarms and swarms of bees all around us.
Oh, there was, well, I couldn't count them, of course, but there looked to be thousands.
I happened to look out of this window, and there was a great swarm. I've never seen anything like it. It was huge.
They set up directly opposite her house, which was another strange thing. Right above the bell in Bell Street. I don't know how superstitious you are, but it seemed rather uncanny.
Well, my mother loved bees, and she used to talk to them, and she told them everything. And I think that was the reason why they came back, to pay their last respects to her.
Meanwhile, from America came reports of a dog which unaccountably rose from the grave.
Locals are calling him the poltergeist dog. His name is Brownie. Mary Bratcher thought Brownie died after she accidentally backed her truck over him in the front yard of their home.
You know, we looked at the dog, and Jeffrey said the dog's dead.
So the Bratchers buried Brownie in their ranch pasture. But all along, 3-year-old Toby Bratcher insisted Brownie was alive. The next day, the family took a trip to Carlsbad, and when they returned, guess who was waiting on the doorstep? The Bratchers aren't sure just how Brownie got out. They think Brownie's mother and siblings dug him up.
As you can see, Brownie's getting lots of love from family members, and he seems to be doing okay. He does have a missing eye and a slight limp.
But Mary says he's the same old Brownie.
And in Texas, a pet pig called Priscilla rescued its master from certain death.
We can grab it!
Loyal pets have often been celebrated for their navigational skills. This year, a Japanese dog washed away by tidal waves scampered back home a year later. An Alsatian sold to a new family walked 70 miles through 3 counties to be reunited with its former owner. Ironically, thousands of homing pigeons failed to get home. Some people blame this disaster on magnetic disturbances emanating from the planet Jupiter. One of the world's rarest pigeons was eaten by one of the world's rarest falcons. Also in '94, a dead seal was discovered 5,000 feet up a mountain. A 2-headed snake and a 2-headed turtle were discovered. Squirrels jet skied, terriers skateboarded, Labradors went diving, and they went water skiing. Rabbits 4 feet tall guarded a farm in Kansas. Gangs of monkeys aped cat burglars by preying on Hong Kong apartments in search of edible swag. The problem became so serious that the Hong Kong police formed special monkey squads. And in Nebraska, hundreds of goats took to fainting. Weird storms hit in July, and Bedford got a big shock.
It was crackling. It was about 2 foot wide, and it came down just like this. My youngest son was upstairs playing with his friend, and they saw it too.
It went through the ceiling, down the stairs, and then it disappeared.